Okay, I'm going to start the haul I got from Imprint. Imprint this month. Here's the first thing I got from Imprint. And this one I watched last night, and I'm surprised at how good it was. It's from 1959. And by the way, thank you to Imprint for sending me these. Jetstorm, which is a movie about a guy who puts a bomb on a plane, and he's on the plane and he's going to blow it up because there's another man on the plane who did a hit and run and killed his kid. And this one has a whole bunch of heavy hitting English actors in it, like you would not believe. It's got Stanley Baker, it's got Richard Attenborough, it's got Diane Cilento, who's Australian, a whole bunch of other people. Maya Zedling's in there, Hermione Badley, just Harry Seacombe's in it. Black and white, but Jesus, good. And it's one of those movies that's a precursor to things like the airport movies and those aeroplane disaster movies. This one's a bit of a hidden gem, and I really enjoyed it. Just something I had no idea about and knew nothing at all about. There's the inside one, there's the back cover, and inside we get the disc. The extras on this one are pretty good. We get a commentary with Kim Newman and Joe Botti, a 1080p, and film historian Sheldon Hall on Jetstorm from 2025. If you want to get one of the Imprint movies from Imprint, what I would suggest is this would be one of the ones you get this month. There's a lot of good stuff, but this month, Jetstorm alone. And then they've got this pop boiler with Robert Redford and Natalie Wood from 1966, which I know nothing about. It's set in the Depression era in a small country town in the South. This property is condemned, which is one of those southern summer pot boiler films. Robert Redford's the guy who comes to town to sack all of the railway employees in the town. And the town relies on that. And starts a relationship with a slutty woman played by Natalie Wood. There's the back cover of it. There's the inside cover with Natalie Wood in a blankie. There's the other part of it. Ramsar said, I'll be watching Jetstream on Tubi's big Stanley Baker fan. Me too. Stanley Baker was so underrated. And one of the things Kim Newman says is that Stanley Baker was the English Robert Mitchum, or the Welsh Robert Mitchum. This property came out from a shocker. It came in a box called Romance Collection. Yeah, it's not too romantic from what I understand. There's the inside part. Extras on this, we've got audio commentary with Gillian Wallace Horvath from 2025. Personal investment, Sidney Pollack on American cinema and 40 years of Hollywood, because this was directed by Sidney Pollack. Natalie Wood, a tribute by Peter Bogdanovich from 2025. The Times of Natalie Wood, an appreciation by Gavin Lambert. So there's a few extras on this one. That one I'm going to watch this week. The next one's got, oddly enough, a Terrence Stamp movie. It's a couple of movies that were made back to back in America in the 1960s. Let me have a look at the dates on them. 1968 and 1973. So one of them was delayed. There's a double box set of Blue and Fade In. Two movies that were made back to back. I hear great things about it. I haven't seen them yet. And there's also a documentary feature length in addition in this box. There's the back. But inside, you got a Western with Terrence Stamp in it called Blue. Also has Joanna Pennant and Carl Malden. Hero, Renegade, Lover, which is what I'm getting on my tombstone. Damien says he saw Blue on TV. So I'm looking forward to that. Extras on Blue, and there's the back cover. Extras on Blue are audio commentary by film historian Daniel Kremer and David Duvall. A Greek in the Wild West, an interview with actor Stathis Giolotis. Audio interview with cinematographer Stanley Cortez. Art of Blue. Interview with visual consultant Anthony Pratt. And a trailer. So I'm looking forward to that. The idea of a Terrence Stamp Western is kind of cool to me. Ramsar says Stanley Baker was a noted producer, for instance, Zulu. Yeah, he worked with Cy Enfield on Zulu. And Cy Enfield also directed Jetstorm. And this one, Burt Reynolds in an early role and Barbara Loudon from 1973 in Fade In, which is the other movie that was made with Blue. And on this one, we got audio commentary with Nat Segeloff and Daniel Kremer. Road to Cinema, an interview with the producer Judd Bernard by filmmaker Jeffrey Friedman. This one says a young cosmopolitan city woman surprises herself and everybody else when she finds herself falling for a handsome and charismatic ranch hand while both are working on location in the film shoot. That's a bit of a different early Burt Reynolds role. Deborah says, Blue's an interesting film. Really liked it. Haven't seen the other one. Neither have I. And there's also a documentary by Daniel Kremer about movie director Sylvia Nerezano called Cruel, Unusual, Necessary. This is another interesting thing from Daniel Kremer. And this one's got introduction by the director, special remembrances of Sylvia Nerezano by filmmaker Peter Medak, deleted sequences and extended interviews. I'm glad they put that in there because Daniel's doing some interesting documentaries these days. That inclusion kind of works, and I could probably use that as one of the art house movies I do for this month. And I may well do that. So there's that box set. And here are the 4Ks for this month, and they're bangers. Midnight Cowboy on 4K. Hoffman and Voight. I never liked John Voight's character in this movie, but I like Dustin Hoffman's. And they're released on 4K. And I've got to stop looking at the chat while I do this. There's the back of it. But there's tons of extras on this. Audio commentary with Matthew Asprey Gear. Audio commentary with director John Schlesinger and producer Jerome Hellman, which is archival. Blu-ray special features. After Midnight, reflecting on a classic 35 years later featurette. Controversy and acclaim featurette. Celebrating Schlesinger featurette. Salute to John Schlesinger, an Englishman in Hollywood, from 2025, which was done at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. Desperate Souls, Dark City, and The Legend of Midnight Cowboy. An extended interview with Midnight Cowboy cinematographer Adam Hollander, which is pretty good. David says, have the book of Midnight Cowboy. Amazing how much the film is liked. That's what I hear. There's the 4K, and there's also a Blu-ray in this as well. So it's upscalable if you just got the Blu-ray. Or you just got a Blu-ray player, sorry. There's a back of it. And also the soundtrack. That soundtrack in Midnight Cowboy is great. And that sleazy New York, I just love. And there is the film by Nancy Bursky, Desperate Souls, Dark City, and The Legend of Midnight Cowboy. So you get a lot of extras on this one. And Midnight Cowboy, I just got a copy of Midnight Cowboy from an op shop for $1. That's what happens. I find things like classic films for $1 at an op shop. And then suddenly Imprint put them out and send me a review copy. Here's Joe Buckenrazzo. Yeah, John Barry's score is iconic. Ramsar said, Midnight Cowboy has great acting, story, and music. It's the only X-rated movie to win a Best Picture Oscar. Idiotic to be rated X. The bromance between these two has some interesting subtext to it as well. Damien says, poor you. Yes, absolutely. I am fully aware of my privilege, Damien. The last one, the other 4K we got, which I picked up again for $1 at an op shop 2 months ago. In the Heat of the Night. Sidney Poitier, Rod Steiger. Fantastic movie, this one. And a good crime thriller as well. But Imprint have now put it out in a premium 4K. Get to the extras, but I'll show you this first. I like this cover art. Check that out. I really like that. Friday says, I love In the Heat of the Night. Absolutely. Extras, 4K Blu-ray special features. Audio commentary with director Norman Jewis and cinematographer Haskell Wexler and actors Rod Steiger and Lee Grant. Blu-ray special features, When the Picture Was Over, The Life and Films of Rod Steiger, a video essay. And that's going to be a good watch. Turning Up the Heat, movie making in the 1960s featurette. The Slap Heard Round the World featurette. And if you know, you know. There's a slap in this movie that freaked out a lot of people. Quincy Jones breaking news sound. So there's this thing about Quincy Jones soundtrack for In the Heat of the Night. Trailers from Hill in the Heat of the Night with Michael Schlesinger, and an original theatrical trailer. And inside, you get the DVD and you get the Blu-ray and the 4K. And you also get a book. Bronny says, I believe the slap was ad-libbed. It could be. Yeah, there was the sequels to Call Me Mr. Tibbs and The Organization, I think it was. Night Moves. In the Heat of the Night, Pursuit of the American South by Travis Wood. Is there another one in here? And there's a whole bunch of the press stuff for the movie as well. Tom said, I saw it In the Heat of the Night on the big screen in 1967. Cool. Dick says, got a bunch of stuff on order from Imprint, but got to wait until September for them to arrive. Yep, that's unfortunately the tyranny of distance, which Australians are very familiar with. Getting these two classics on 4K is amazing and was unexpected. And Imprint does this where they'll announce things and you think, I wasn't expecting that. What the hell? There's Rod Steiger and Sidney Poitier, one of whom is much taller than the other. My favourite Rod Steiger role is him playing Stanley Shriner Hop in The Big Knife with Jack Palance and Ida Lupino. That movie, if you can see it, is a real gutty movie about Hollywood. So there they are. There is all of the stuff this month from Imprint. And thanks again to Imprint for sending them. Amazing month this one.